Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodhanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Prajajana Ranjana Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Jaya Radha Ras Bihari Radha Ras Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Bolo Hari Nama Sankirtan ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Bol. So I seek blessing from all the assembled Vaishnavas to shower your blessing on me, and please forgive me for any mistakes which accident in which knowingly or unknowingly.
Sunder Gopinath Prabhu, you're coming a little soft. I don't know if it's me or everyone else.
How is it, Mataji, now?
Yeah, better.
Is it better, Mataji, now?
Yeah, better. Thank you.
Thanks, Mataji. So I seek blessing from all the assembled Vaishnavas here, and I request apology if I make mistake for any of the knowingly or unknowingly. If I make any mistakes, please forgive me for. So today's our first verse that we will discuss is 6.20. 20, 21, 22, 23, they are all together combined and combined explained by Srila Prabhupada. So we will read all these verses. We'll first read the translate. First we will read the mantra, then synonyms, and then purport also we will read. It's a very interesting purport, and Prabhupada has given a lot of details in the purport. We will take few of the purports and see, and we will explore more on some of the topics which Prabhupada has highlighted in his purport. So let's start with verse number 6.20. Yatra paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pasyanatmani tushyati yatra paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya Yatra chaivatmanatmanam pasyanatmani tushyati yatra paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pasyanatmani tushyati. Anyone would like to repeat the verse?
यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति.
Thank you, Madhu. Anyone else would like to repeat?
Yatra paramati chittama niruddham yoga sevaya yatra jaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati.
Very good. Is it Radhika?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, Radhika. Sukham atyantikam yatta buddhigrayam atendriyam veti yatra na chaivayam citaschalati tatvata. Sukham atyantikam yatta buddhigrayam atendriyam veti yatra na chaivayam citaschalati tatvata. Sukham atma atyantikam yatta buddhigrayam atendriyam veti yatra na chaivayam citaschalati tatvata. Anyone would like to repeat?
Sukham atyantikam yattat buddhigrayam atindriyam veti yatra na chaivayam stitaschalati tatvataha.
Thank you, Shadabhakti Mataji.
Sukham atyantikam yatta buddhigayam atindriyam vedi yatra na jaivayam stitaschalati tat.
What very good, Radhika.
सुखमत्यन्तिकं यत्तत् बुद्धिग्राह्यम् अतीन्द्रियं वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः.
Thank you. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tata yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tata yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadhikam tata yasmin stito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Yes, anyone would like to repeat?
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचालयते.
Thank you, Gita Mataji.
विचाल्यते.
Thank you, Gita Mataji.
Yam labdva cha param labham manyate nadhikatata yasim stetana dukkena gunu api vicharyate.
Very good, Radhika. Last verse. Tam vidya dukha samyoga viyogam yoga samyitam. Tam vidya dukha samyoga Viyogam yoga samyitam tam vidya dukha samyoga. Viyogam yoga samyitam. Anyone would like to try this verse? Last verse, then we will read synonyms and translation and then purport.
Yes, Prabhu. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samnitam.
Thank you, Sugopi Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
तं विद्युत्दुःखसंयोग वियोगं योगसंज्ञिताम्.
Very good, Radhika. Thank you very much. Apology. Yatra, in that state of affairs where Armate cease because one feels transcendental happiness. Chittam, mental activities. Niruddham, being restrained from matter. Yoga Sevaya, by performance of yoga. Yatra, in which. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Atmana, by pure mind. Atmanam, the self. Pashyan, realizing the position of. Atmani, in the self. Tushyati, one becomes satisfied. Sukham, happiness. Atyantikam, supreme. Yat, which, that. Tat, that. Buddhi, by intelligence. Khyam, accessible. Atendriyam, transcendental. Veti, one knows. Yatra, wherein. Na, never. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. I am he, stitha, situated. Chalati, moves. Tatvata, from that truth. Yam, that which. Labdhva, by attainment. Cha, also. Aparam, any other. Labham, gain. Manyate, considers. Na, never. Adhikam, more. Tatha, than that. Yasmin, in which. Sthita, being situated. Na, never. Dukkhena, by miseries. Guna, guruna api, even though very difficult. Vichalyate, becomes shaken. Tam, that. Vidyat, you must know. Dukkha, samyoga, of the miseries of material contact. Viyogam, extermination. Yoga, samyatam, called transcend yoga. Translation. In this stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self, by the pure mind to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain being situated in such a position. One is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Now we will read the purport. Anyone would like to help me in reading purport? Purport and translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
We can't see the translation. You're going to the purport directly.
Yeah, per translation I just read, Mataji.
Oh, you just read it.
I just read. So purport was big, so that's why I have I went back to the website. Yeah, please go ahead, Gopinath.
Okay, Prabhu. By practice of yoga, one becomes gradually detached from material concepts. This is the primary characteristic of the yoga principle. And after this, one becomes situated in trance or samadhi, which means that the yogi realizes the super soul through transcendental mind and intelligence, without any of the misgivings of identifying the self with the super self. Yoga practice is more or less based on the principles of the Patanjali system. Some unauthorized commentators try to identify the individual soul with the super soul, and the monists think this to be liberation, but they do not understand the real purpose of the Patanjali system of yoga. There is an acceptance of the transcendental pleasure in the Patanjali system, but the monists do not accept this transcendental pleasure out of fear of jeopardizing the theory of oneness. The duality of knowledge and knower is not accepted by the non-dualist, but in this verse, transcendental pleasure realized through transcendental senses is accepted, and this is corroborated by Patanjali Muni, the famous exponent of the yoga system. The great sage declares in his Yoga Sutras, Purusharthas Shunyanam Gunanam Prati Prasavaha Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtha Va Chitti Shaktir Iti.
Very good, Matthew. Anyone would like to read the second paragraph?
I'll read it.
Please go ahead.
Okay. This Shiti Shakti or internal potency is transcendental. Puru Shatra means material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and at the end, the attempt to become one with the Supreme. This oneness with the Supreme is called Kaivalyam by the monists. But according to Pantajali, this Kaivalyam is an internal or transcendental potency by which the living entity becomes aware of his constitutional position. In the words of Lord Chaitanya, this state of affairs is called Chitodarpana Marjana, or clearance of the impure mind, or clearance of the impure mirror of the mind. This clearance is actually liberation, or Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. The theory of nirvana, also preliminary, corresponds with this principle. In the Bhagavatam 2.10.6, this is called Svarupena Vyavasiti.
Very good, Prabhu. Thank you.
The Bhagavad Gita also confirms this situation in this verse.
Very good.
After nirvana or material cessation, there is the manifestation of spiritual activities or devotional service to the Lord, known as Krishna consciousness. In the words of the Bhagavatam, Svarupena Vyavastit, this is the real life of the living entity. Maya, or illusion, is the condition of spiritual life contaminated by material infection. Liberation from this material infection does not mean destruction of the original eternal position of the living entity. Jali also accepts this by his words, Kaivalayam Svarupa Pratista Vachiti Sakti Iti. This Chiti Sakti or transcendental pleasure is real life. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12 as Ananda Mayo Bayashat. This is natural transcendental pleasure. Sorry, this natural transcendental pleasure is the ultimate goal of yoga and is easily achieved by execution of devotional service or bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga will be vividly described in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
Very good.
Should I continue?
Anyone would like to read this? Anyone else?
I can read, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji.
In
Thank
the
you.
yoga system, as described in this chapter, there are two kinds of samadhi called samprajñata samadhi and asamprajñata samadhi. When one becomes situated in the transcendental position by various philosophical researchers, it is said to have achieved samprajñata samadhi. In the asamprajñata samadhi, there is no longer any connection with mundane pleasure, for one is then transcendental to all sorts of happiness derived from the senses. When the yogi is once situated in that transcendental position, he is never shaken from it. Unless the yogi is able to reach this position, he is unsuccessful. Today's so-called yoga practice, which involves various sense pleasures, is contradictory. A yogi indulging in sex and intoxication is a mockery. Even these yogis who are attracted by the siddhis even those yogis who are attracted by the siddhis imperfections or perfections in the process of yoga are not perfectly situated. If yogis are attracted by the byproducts of yoga, then they cannot attain the stage of perfection, as is stated in this verse. Persons, therefore, indulging in the make-show practice of gymnastic feats or siddhis should know that the aim of yoga is lost in that way. Somebody else can read.
The best practice of yoga in this stage is Krishna consciousness, which is not baffling. A Krishna conscious person is so happy in his occupation that he does not aspire after any other happiness. There are many impediments, especially in this age of hypocrisy, to practicing Hatha Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. But there is no such problem in executing karma or bhakti yoga. As long as material body exists, one has to meet the demands of body, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. But a person who is in pure bhakti yoga or in Krishna consciousness does not arouse the senses while meeting the demands of the body. Rather, he accepts the bare necessities of life, making the best use of bad bargain, and enjoys transcendental happiness in Krishna consciousness. He calls toward incidental occurrence, such an accident, disease, scarcity, and even the death of the most dear relative. He is always alert to execute his duty in Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga. Accidents never deviate him from his duty. As is stated in Bhagavad Gita 2. Agama Payano Nityastam Titiksha Bharata. He endures all such incidental occurrence because he knows that they come and go and do not affect his duties. In this way, achieve the highest perfection of yoga practice. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Such a wonderful purport Prabhupada has written, and he has elaborated. He has given many details in this verse. He talked about samadhi, and then purushartha shunyam gunanam pratishta prasav Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtava Chitti. And then and then he elaborated the few meanings of the verses. Then Chetodarpana Marjanam, that is Siksashtakam prayer, how he related that with Chitta Shakti and Samadhi. So let's see one by one. Thank you very much for all your help in repeating these verses and reading the translation and purport for me. Thank you. So first thing about yoga, there are 8 limbs of Ashtanga. This whole chapter is called Dhyana Yoga, and Dhyana, and there will you will hear this word Patanjali Yoga System and in many purports. So one of the Patanjali Yoga system is Yama Niyama. There are 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. So Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhi. Samadhi is the ultimate goal or end result. So what is Yama? Yama means don'ts, regulations or prohibition. Like we have also don'ts like no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication. So these are the 4 don'ts. Niyama means rules or do's or rules or prescriptions like chanting for regulatory principle, ABCD association, books, chanting, and distribute and then book distribution. Asana, bodily exercises. In Ashtanga Yoga, it is bodily exercises, asana, pranayama, breathing exercises, controlling the pranavayu, and then pratyahara, withdrawing the senses from sense object, dharana, fixing the mind on Lord's form, dhyana, intensified meditation on the Lord, samadhi means complete absorption or trance. So that is that are the 8 limbs of yoga system. In verse number 3 to 4, these talks about the different limbs of yoga, which we have already covered in detail. We won't talk about those things, but at a high level, just to go to the samadhi stage, we just want to understand what are the limbs of yoga and at which stage samadhi comes. So these are the different stages or limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. And then in purport, Prabhupada, the Yoga Sutra 4.33, Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Prati Prasavaha Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtha Va Chitti Shakti Rite. Meaning, Purushartha, self-purpose, Shunyanam, devoid, Gunanam, different gunas, Pratishtha Va, involution, Kaivalyam, liberation, Swarupa, Pratishtha Va Chitti Shakti Iti. So we will see what Prabhupada purport. In paragraph 2, Prabhupada has elaborated this Chitta Shakti as internal potency. Chitta means consciousness, Shakti means power. So internal potency or is transcendental. Purushartha means material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification. And at the end, attempt to become one with Supreme. The one with Supreme, oneness means Kaivalyam. This oneness with the Supreme is called Kaivalyam by the monoist. And we will see, we will see about the liberations also in detail. But according to the Patanjali, this Kaivalyam is an internal or transcendental potency by which living entity becomes aware of constitutional position. In the words of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this beautiful Siksashtakam. It's a very wonderful, and all the followers of Gaudiya Vaishnava should try to read this beautiful verse, which has 8 verses basically, and in the complete summary of Gaudiya Sampradaya is combined in this short 8 verses by Mahaprabhu. So this goes like Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So it has many more verses, which is very beautifully given by our beloved Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So please like whenever you get time, read this Sikshashtakam. And so here Prabhupada is using these 3 words, the first 2 lines, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Cheto again here Chitti, that is consciousness. Clearance of the impure mirror of mind. This clearance is actually the liberation. So when one's mind is cleared or purified from the impurities which we have accumulated over lifetimes, over many lifetimes, once those impurities are cleared and we understand ourself, our chitta, once we understand ourselves and we understand, then that is called as liberation actually. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Bhava Mahadavagni. Davagni means Agni. So forest fire, like so it will burn all those sins accumulated over the past multiple life. All those sin will get burnt in this forest fire, which is compared to as bhakti yoga. So once that is the theory of nirvana, also preliminary corresponds with the principle of Bhagavatam 2.10.6. This is called Swarupena Vyavasthiti. The Bhagavad Gita also confirms this situation in this verse. So we will see what is 2.10.6. Nirodha Sanyas Chyanushayanam Atmana Saha Shakti Bhi Muktir Hitvantyantar Rupam Swarupena Vyavasthiti. Nirodha, the winding up of cosmic manifestation, asya, of his, anushyanam, the lying down of Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, in his mystic slumber, Atmana, of the living entities, Saha, along with, Shakti Bhi, with the energies, Mukti, liberation, Hitva, giving up, Anyata, otherwise, Rupam, form, Swarupena, in constitutional form, Vyavasthiti, permanent solution. Translation. So I have just summarized a purport, but those who would like to read purport in detail, I would request everyone to, whenever they get time, they can go and read this purport also in detail. Prabhupada has, given it in a very beautiful way. He has used a few words in such a way, that, we can get, very clear vision of what he's trying to tell in this verse. The merging of the living entity along with his conditional tendency, living tendency, with the mystic lying down of the Mahavishnu is called winding up of cosmic manifestation. Liberation is the permanent situation of form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable gross and subtle material bodies. So in the purport, Prabhupada is Prabhupada is explaining two types of living entities. One is ever liberated souls or Nitya Muktas, or ever conditioned souls. So ever conditioned souls have two situations. They are into two situations. One situation is many of us will want to do sense gratification, many of the conditioned soul. So they will whatever Lord has given them, they will try to exploit and try to exploit as much as possible and try to enjoy the things. These are the ever conditioned souls, and that will be their nature. So ultimately these conditioned souls will be at the time of when Mahavishnu, when mystic, the mystic lying down of Mahavishnu is called the winding up of cosmic manifestation. When ultimately everybody, these people, all these sense enjoyment who wants to enjoy this material facilities, then they will ultimately go back to the merge with the Mahavishnu. But those who are who follows the regulative principle and who follows the bhakti tradition, and ultimately give up their sense enjoyment and dovetail their energies towards Krishna and bhakti, they take up this bhakti mark, they will get liberated from they will not get merged into they will get their real identity. So Prabhupada is explaining this very beautifully in this purport, and Srimad Bhagavatam purport, this 2.10. Like the constant Swarupena Vyavasthiti. So permanent situation, Prabhupada has explained it in a very beautiful way, and that is how it is related to our today's verse 22-23. And now we will talk about Samadhi. So Samadhi, in Patanjali, in the yoga ladder also, Yama, Niyama, all those 8 limbs. So at the end, it is Samadhi. So Samadhi is a situation. If you see this, this particular picture is taken from the Bhagavad Gita only. In Bhagavad Gita, those who have hard copy of Bhagavad Gita, they can see in that in the middle pages, there is one picture, picture given, wherein this yogi, the full picture goes like, there is a hole in his skull, and then a light is going towards the moon. So Samadhi is a situation where a person attains by strict yoga practice, that he doesn't need to rely on the material things. Like he doesn't need to he's not concerned about like eating food. He has control, eating, mating, sleeping and defending. He has overcome all this situation, and he has cleared that mirror, which was Cheto Darpana Marjana, the words that we use. The mirror is cleared. He is able to see his self, and he's one with the super soul. So that is one way, one form of Samadhi. So here in this picture, the skull is opened, and then the soul is transcending towards the moon planet. So there are different types of yogis, yogis who follow this practice. Some yogis are so strict that they will. There are aghoris. There are the practice or the people who control their body and able to maneuver their body in such in such poses that they are able to control different limbs of their body. So there are this type of yogi, there are aghoris, there are there are some people who has who will not eat, they don't feel hungry. So some people will live in a very cold weather, wherein normal human being cannot live. They will live without wearing proper clothes. They can live in that way also, but still able to survive, because they are able to generate so much heat within their inner self, that they are able to control their their bodily temperature also. So there are different yogis and yoga practices, and actual samadhi means when one, as per in the purport, if you see, we will read out this. When one becomes situated in the transcendental position, so there are two types of samadhi which Prabhupada is samprajna and asamprajna. So when one becomes situated in the transcendental position by the various philosophical research, he is said to have achieved samprajna samadhi. And in samprajna samadhi, he no longer has connection with the mundane pleasure. So mundane pleasure for one is then transcendental to all sort of happiness derived from the senses. So many of our situation, if we become happy or we become sad, if something if just a simple thing also, if we just eat some good food, then we'll feel happy, like after hunger. So if we eat good food, we will feel happy. But like if we don't get proper food, if that food is gives us pain, then we'll become unhappy. Same, like whatever in material life, whatever thing that gives happiness, the same source of happiness will give us the utmost pain. So there are many stories in the Bhagavatam also. So one story where King Chitraketu, like he wanted a son, because so he married many wives, but still he was not getting a son. So ultimately, by Narad Muni's blessing, he got a son, and he named his son as Harsha Shoka. And then this son was, like other queens were very envious of king giving more attention to the son's mother. So then they poisoned him. So the son, which has given so much of pleasure to that father, King Chitraketu, the same son, when he passes away, he gives him so much of pain that he cries and he loses his vision. So then the story goes on, where Narad Muni revives the son, but ultimately that son says that you are, though you are father, but I have many fathers. You are which father? So that's where King Chitraketu understands what Narad Muni was trying to explain him. Then he uh, he he follows spiritual path. So that's how the material life is designed in such a way that whatever pleasure one is getting, the same pleasure will turn into poison at some point of the other. Whatever material pleasure we can talk about on this material life, there is no happiness. I mean, whatever, it is just a temporary happiness. Even in in purports, Prabhupada has said happiness, material happiness is like one is beaten up by a hunter constantly, and then one is stopped, that whip is stopped for a while. So that particular moment is what happiness is all about. So samadhi is a situation wherein a person doesn't enjoy, he cuts himself from all these situation of temporary happiness or sadness. and then connects and gets connected with the super soul or supreme. So when realization in perfection, samadhi, what is the realization of consciousness completely restrained from material mental activity? One can see the self by pure mind and be satisfied with it. One gets boundless spiritual bliss by spiritual intelligence, not material senses. One is never deviated from the truth of one's spiritual nature. One, having obtained this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Situated in full determination, one is never shaken, even in the greatest difficulty. This is something, we all should try to follow, but it is very difficult for sadhakas, for many sadhakas like me. Like whenever difficult situation come, we tend to deviate from our niyama, the rules, the prescription or the rules and regulations that we should follow. So sometimes there will be situation, but only hope, the hope that is Prabhupada has given, build this wonderful society of international society of Krishna consciousness. So there will be many friends around you who will always give their helping hand and will be able to pull you out from that situation. So that is something we should all practicing sadhakas should have a good friend circle around themselves who can not in a selfish way, but certainly that is the only hope because everyone may not be situated in samadhi that but this friendship, this will certainly, friendship and guidance from senior Vaishnava and blessings from them will certainly help them to come out of that situation. So as I was talking about liberation, there are 5 types of liberation one may attain. One is Salokya, Sarshti, Sarupya, Samipya, Sayujya. These are the 5 types of liberation. Salokya, in this liberation one gains residence on one of Vaikuntha planets where Narayana form resides. Sarshti, when one attains this liberation, he acquires the same opulence as the Lord and lives in the Vaikuntha planet. Sarupya, in this liberation you get the same form as 4 armed Lord Narayana and live in Vaikuntha planets. Kuntha means dukh. So why means no. Where there is no dukkha, that is Vaikuntha. So that is where Lord reside, Lord. So that is one way to understand Vaikuntha or explanation of Vaikuntha. Samipya. In this liberation, one becomes personal associate of the Lord and stay in his direct association. This liberation attained by devotees like Arjuna. He was a friend of the Lord. Sayujya, this is the liberation attained by yogis and jnanis. In this liberation, one becomes one with Brahmajyoti or he becomes one with the Lord himself by losing his individuality. Attaining this kind of liberation is not very hard. The enemies of Lord such as Kamsa attain this liberation. Chaitanya Charitamrita explained that the devotee would rather go to hell than to attain this kind of liberation. In hell, we still have an opportunity to serve the Lord, but when we become one with the Lord, we commit an abominable action and become an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Basically, Bhakti Yoga, who follow this path, they don't aspire for any type of liberations. Their whole purpose of life or purpose of following that spiritual practice is to just serve Lord. And if Lord is happy with any of the acts, so then they are ready to do that act by taking whatever pains of the life, whatever pain that life gives, or whatever wherever the situation is. That is the ultimate aim of bhakti yoga. So bhakti yoga, like many yogis, or like I described about many yogis, different types of followers, they will do lot of practice, and they will attend many siddhis and other things. But what is the use when that element of serving Lord Hari, Lord Shri Krishna is missing in their life? So we are the followers, we as a followers of Radharani, we follow, our parampara is designed in such a way, and Prabhupada has given us such a clear instructions that, we would like to serve rather than aspiring for all these liberation. But certainly these types of liberation should not be taken as casually. These are also like requires a lot of practice, and very difficult to attain. Even like yoga also, nowadays yoga has just constrained to just exercises, but the real purpose or the real yogi is very difficult to find, who has the spiritual understanding plus the yoga system. So that combination is very rare in this age of Kali Yuga. So many, as they will not follow lot of yama, the regulations will not be followed. They will do whatever things they want to do, and still they can call themselves as yogis. But the purpose they may attain, like the samadhi stage, they may attain after practicing, after regular practicing. But still bhakti yoga is the ultimate thing, wherein just following whatever prescribed rules and regulation, which is very simple. It is not negating anything, but just following the positive part more, and attaining, like eating prasad. So whatever you're uh, cooking, just offer it to Krishna, and then take it, accept it as honor it as a prasad. So that is like a simple things which can be followed in the bhakti tradition, and still one can attain samadhi, because a Krishna conscious person is not attached to any of the material things. So he is not attached with anything, any fruits, basically, of the material things. So that's where we would like to end. Bhakti is the topmost yoga, and in Dhyana yoga, basically it is silences and stop all material emotions. This is like cutting down everything. Whereas Bhakti yoga on the other end, it is like more of positive things, accepting more in a positive way. So basically kindling the spiritual emotions and removing the negative. So that way person is not even attached to anything. Still he does like he's working, but still the fruits of all his work will be dovetailed towards Krishna conscious activity. So this is where we would like to end. So any questions, any comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very nice class.
Thank you,
And
Prabhu.
I was confused. Actually, I never read seriously the two kinds of samadhi that you mentioned, sampragyat samadhi and asampragyat samadhi.
Mhm.
So if you can clarify that, that will be great.
Yeah, so Prabhupada has given these two things only, Prabhu, but in details, what I have understood from this is sampragnat, wherein still, I mean, Asampragnat means no material connections is there. So we are, like whatever act, we are not attached to this. Asampragnat, there is no longer any connection with mundane pleasures, like any of the satogun, rajogun, or tamogun, whichever gunas the pleasure may come. So those pleasure we are derived, we are a person is not attained, but ultimately both the stage is connected with how can I explain you in
Vishnu.
yeah, so asampragnat, basically it means whenever the mundane pleasure, whatever pleasure we are getting, so he just disconnects from this material things and connects on a higher spiritual body, basically gets a spiritual body level. And sampragnat samadhi means from the philosophical, basically he attains the transcendental position, but still he may connect within the bodily things, he may connect by following the yoga practice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very nice.
But I would, if anyone would want to tell more, highlight more on this, please feel free to add more things on this.
I mean, Prabhupada said if we are in Krishna consciousness, we are already in Samadhi.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Yeah. So actually in this purport only, Prabhupada later on mentions like Bhakti Yoga is the topmost yoga, and then here he mentioned. So he criticized all the yogis, who so-called yoga system, but Krishna consciousness. A Krishna consciousness person is so happy in this occupation that he does not aspire after any other happiness. So that is where, yeah. Yes, Prabhu. That's what.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions or comment anyone would like to say? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Very nice class, Sunder Gopinath Prabhu. Just want to add a comment.
Yes, yes,
You were talking that a devotee is looking only for the satisfaction, to satisfy Lord Krishna, to see his happiness. So in that context, I remembered that in Vrindavan, all gopis were ready to go to any extent to the hell, when Narad Muni comes to ask for a dust from their lotus feet. So that reminded me of that pastime. So just thought of sharing.
Thank you, Mataji.
You can elaborate on that.
Actually, I wanted to tell that story, but just in the interest of time, I just didn't.
Okay.
That story. But
Thank
I
you.
understood, when Narad Muni, when Lord Vishnu tells Narad Muni that find out who is my supreme devotee. So then then he himself, then tell them to give the dust from their feet. So he went to each and every devotee, but none of them gave, because giving dust to Lord means going to hell. So that is what that is the utmost crime a person can commit. So none of them give, but gopis, they just gave it happily. They said that for Lord, if we want to go to hell for millions of lifetime, they are ready to go. So that is the level of surrender what gopis have. So that's where Narad Muni understood. Thank you, Mataji, for that.
Yeah. So Lord actually pretended to have a headache.
Yeah.
And then he said that is the only ointment, that cure, that, getting the dust from the lotus feet of the devotee so that he can apply on his forehead.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very nice pastime. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Prabhuji, I have one question. Mataji, where is this pastime taken from, Prabhuji?
Which one, Mataji?
This Narada Muni and
where this is which reference you mean? where is the, in which
Headache,
Yes, yes,
headache
Prabhuji.
pastime.
So yeah, headache pastime. I don't know exactly, but I have heard it so many times. But exactly reference, I don't know where is
In
it? Maybe in
Purana,
Padma
Prabhuji, or-
Puran or somewhere, in
Oh,
one of the
okay.
Puranas, it might be mentioned, Mataji. But exactly, I don't know. But I
Okay.
will try to find out and share, in each
Okay,
account
okay.
class.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please accept my humble obeisances. One chakal patrubhyascha
Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Sunder Gopinath Prabhu ki jai.
Pitamala Mataji, Jai. All Vaishnavas ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.